Aloha, my name is Zachary Adams, and for my final project, I am doing it on the Trinidadian steel pans. And as you can see in this first picture, this is the steel pan. The notes are labeled on the pan. That's where you can beat it with the tool or stick and produce a certain sound based on how big of a indentation there is on the other side of the pan. So those are all the different notes, and it reads similar to a piano. So that is the band or the excuse me an example of the pan. So the history begins between 1838 and 1883. The beating of skin drums was an integral part of the carnival celebration, but it had to do with African music, and so they put a ban on all drum beating, and that was imposed in 1884. So the carnival celebrants had to look for an alternative to the skin drum. They turned to bamboo after they discovered that dried bamboo of various diameters produced different sounds when cut into different lengths and struck with wooden sticks. Bands that used bamboo to produce music were called tambu bamboo bands, and the first report of such a band taking part in carnival was in 1891. With the passage of time, bamboo or tambu bamboo bands were integrated into carnival and flourished until the 1930s. These groups soon found that banging the tins, hubcaps, and empty oil drums with the bamboo shoots created a new sort of drum, the steel drum. The steel drum had very distinct notes hammered into the surface on impact. Trinidadians have always believed that music should be made with whatever came to hand, and that it wasn't so much about the quality of the instruments as it was the joy and reward of creating fun, beautiful music. And so here you have a picture of some of the hubcaps that they used, and these are the bamboo shoots that also were used together to produce different notes. So it's actually a really cool sound that comes, and um, especially when you have multiple players on different instruments, hubcaps, different tins. Um, they found that there was rhythm to it and that it had a unique sound. So it just kind of advanced, and then pretty soon there was garbage cans that were being hit, and that produced a sound. And just with all the people together, it produced a band, and that a lot of the people found a lot of solace in the music, and it was their personal rebellion against the ban of the drums. Um, so I'm going to show you. So I mentioned earlier all about how it was sort of a rebellion of the people, and that how it advanced so quickly into more of a musical talents. And so what I'm about to show you is a very modern example of the steel drum bands, and I think you will like it. So this is taking you many, many years in the future. So that was a little piece of the modern mix, but I'm going to return back and explain a little bit more of the history now that you have an envision of what kind of the music is and what it's involved into. So the initial discovery of the unique sound was not altogether accepted. Much violence escalated from the steel drum bands between the members of the bands and the police, because a lot of it having to do with the disruptive sounds that came from the steel members parading through streets and playing their music whenever and wherever they pleased, seeing as it was part of the rebellion. But other members of society wanted no part in the steel drum, and violence erupted from those clashes as well. However, there was a lot of good that came from the movement, giving the band members reason to continue the practice. So there was rebellion because the whole movement as a whole was a rebellion. So there was um, some heads clashing and whatnot about the different ideas, and so then the Trinidadians continued to persevere through their many adversities, and eventually social change took place and acceptance of steel bands gradually erupted. Um, the steel band movement spread and is now an appreciated genre around the world. The Caribbean sort of feel that is associated with the steel drums is a universal happy tune. And definitely you can hear that. It's kind of a fun, want to go to the beach and enjoy, that music sort of feel, just real upbeat. Um, and the Trinidadians faced the process of identity as they were challenged by power, thus causing their resistance and altogether leading to their own significant identity that is linked back to Trinidad forever. Um, whenever steel bands are referenced, I think it's always referenced with Trinidad, because it is the Hauser. And you can see on this map the island of Trinidad and also Tobago, which has history behind it as well with steel drum bands. And and then what happened is the music quickly spread from its roots of Trinidad, and eventually it grew into a worldwide hobby. And you'll find, with a simple Google search, plenty of steel bands that are out. You can hire them, local bands, and they can come at a party for you. Um, it's just taken off. There's bands that are designated just to steel band. A lot of the time they do covers on songs, and they do it on the steel drums, and they sound wonderful. It's not unusual to have a singer behind the steel drum bands. Vocals always enhance, well, not always, but a lot of the time enhance songs. But the music itself is very beautiful, and it's spread pretty much across the world. You can find steel drum bands pretty much everywhere. And even here at BYU Hawaii, and this is a photo of the 2011 Shaka Steel, which is a steel drum band here on campus. And so I am actually going to show, as my final part, a clip from one of their performances that I actually had the privilege of attending. So as I mentioned, this is the video of the 2011 Shaka Steel playing. just a fun little preview of the show. It's very interesting to see students that I go to school with in part of that band. It's beautiful music and something that I just love listening to. So it was a treat to have the Shaka Steel here on campus. And there's bands just like that all around the U.S. and a lot of other countries as well harness um, groups that will play and perform. And so, all in all, the Trinidadian steel pans are a very unique sound that you really can't find anywhere else. They're lots of fun. Um, they and that they've been around. They have such a history behind them. Is also something that I find very interesting. And they will continue to thrive. And hopefully, I'll have the pleasure of listening to getting to hear some more performers later in life. But all in all, that is my final project on the steel pans, and thank you.